Hi, this is Chris from the Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from Political Voices Network.
And let's switch to Donald and Judge Cannon wanting to possibly unseal the witness list. That terrifies me for those people.
You know, listen, I have been a pretty vocal critic of Judge Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
This was a justifiable call. Here's why. So Donald Trump is already prohibited from contacting the fact witnesses. That was in the release order when he was arraigned, the release order that was executed by the magistrate judge.
Right.
So then the prosecutor said, okay, to implement that, Judge Cannon, we're going to give you a list of the witness names. And she basically said, I don't need them. I don't need them. But if you give them to me, there are really rigorous standards for sealing that court filing because the media has First Amendment rights to access. This is a public trial. The public have rights to access. And if you're going to do this, there are very exacting standards for me to seal it. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deny it entirely. I don't want the list of names because if I have it, I have to be convinced that it should be sealed. And Donald Trump is already prohibited from contacting them. We don't need the list of names. When you really drill down on that ruling, it was entirely justifiable.
All right.
So listen, I will be criticizing her for something tomorrow, I'm sure, because her impartiality can reasonably be questioned. And that's the federal standard for a judge to, for a judge being required to remove themselves from the case. But that witness, the ruling on the witness list was actually a justifiable ruling. And I hope we get to talk about Giuliani because that's really a really big development.
Go talk, Giuliani. Go.
So here's the thing. When I saw that Rudy Giuliani came in for what we call a proffer session, a lot of people said, well, he just sat for a voluntary interview. No. Witnesses sit for voluntary interviews all day, every day. Mm-hmm. He sat for a proffer session. Right. What does that mean? So when we know that somebody's committed crime, but we want to talk to that person about not only his crimes, but the crimes of others about which he knows, about which he can testify, we bring them in for a proffer session if they're willing. It has to be voluntary because they have a Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. And then we give them what we call queen for a day immunity. Basically, you can sit here, Rudy. I hope they gave him a breathalyzer test first, but you can sit here, Rudy, and you can tell us everything about your crimes and the crimes of Trump and Sidney Powell and Jenna Ellis and John Eastman and everybody else with complete immunity. So we guarantee we won't use anything that you tell us against you. Why do we do those proffer sessions? Because it is ordinarily one of the last steps before the prosecutors decide whether we're going to indict Rudy or we're going to give him a plea offer with cooperation, taking into account what he told us during the proffer session and say, okay, Rudy, maybe you only have to plead guilty to 3 felonies instead of 33 felonies. Now that you sat with us for this proffer session, this is a really important indication that Rudy knows he's sunk. And let me predict, Jody, some of what Rudy might be trying to do, because he knows he's about to be indicted in Georgia, because Fani Willis said, you're a target of my investigation. He's going to try to strike a deal with the feds that might involve them coming in and bigfooting the Georgia prosecution against Rudy. Hey, feds, I'll help you. Can you help me down here in Georgia? And the feds don't have control of the Georgia proceedings, but the prosecutors will work cooperatively to reach a kind of an overarching, best approach for all cases. So this is a really exciting development.
Well, I remember him saying several years ago he had all the receipts on Donald. So, and there's no way that Rudy Giuliani wants to spend one moment in prison after being a prosecutor himself. You don't want to do that. I mean, people don't like prosecutors, and if they go to jail, they really don't.
Hey.
Well, prisoners don't like prosecutors. I'll go with that. And if a prosecutor goes to prison, they're in a lot of trouble with their inmate, with their cellmates and everybody else. I mean, it's. I look forward to Rudy wearing that little crown as the queen for the day that he will be.
Yeah.
And he's got all this stuff on Donald.
He knows where the bodies are.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, I love the fact that he did do that. And wasn't that the reason that Cosby got off? Because he was given a similar deal and then they used it against him in court?
That was how the appellate court ruled, that there was some kind of an off the record debriefing, and that evidence ended up somehow being used against him. I read that opinion some months ago. It was not very compelling. It felt a little outcome oriented to me.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, you and also with the proffer deal, you have to speak truthfully. If they find out you've lied, then the deal's out the window. Correct?
All bets are off. We never give people any kind of immunity, whether it's that temporary queen for a day immunity or testimonial immunity. We never give that to them as a license to lie. You
Right.
can always be held accountable for your lies, because that's one of the ways we try to encourage people to tell the truth. Okay, you can come in and speak, right, without running the risk of it being used against you, unless you lie. And we take our obligation to get only truthful information from characters like Rudy Giuliani deadly seriously.
All right. All right. Well, that's good news. And it's Chris is giving me one of these, and he wants me to steal third or something. It was lovely to talk to you, sir. Have a wonderful 4th of July weekend.
Great seeing you. You too, Jody. See you guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Glenn.
Hi, everybody. Juliana Forlano here for the Political Voices Network. We hope you're enjoying Political Voices and all the content we provide on the daily. Now, there are a few new programs in the wings that are going to launch just in time for election season. If you're able and would like to help us continue bringing you all this content, please help support us by clicking the join button. We're going to have some perks for members, including early video release. You get the information first. Members only chat rooms, live shows, member badges, all the good stuff and more, all coming soon. So click that join button if you can to support us. And rest assured, we will continue to bring you all the great content you have known from the Political Voices Network and more. Thanks so much. See you soon.